Hey, it's Emmy.
And Amber.
And this is Death Before Decaf Paranormal. And we are doing our special holiday episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, jingle jingle.
It's a good movie.
It's a movie?
There's a musical now.
Wait, there's a movie of Jingle Jingle?
It's a movie on Netflix called Jingle Jangle. It's a holiday musical experience, and it's really good. It's in their Representation Matters collection. So.
I did not know. See, I'm not a big movie person. Amber's very much a movie person, but I'm not. So today we are drinking our very festive coffee. We added some whipped cream with some little sprinkles for the holidays, and we did a ginger brown sugar.
So good.
Yeah, it's we did a French press style, so it's not a latte, it's a French press, and we just added some ginger and brown sugar, and it is so good. So.
And homemade whipped cream.
Oh yeah.
With festive sprinkles.
So on this episode, if you guys didn't know, we are doing something a little bit different. Normally we do an episode about a place or a bed. This episode we had you guys send in your submissions of scary, spooky stories.
Yeah.
So over this chilling time. So without further ado, do you want to go ahead and start?
Yeah, or did you want to start?
I can start. All right, so our first one, submitted by Katie. I frequently hear my name being called both in my home and at my parents' home, but I know better not to respond. Hey demons, it's your boy. But about 4 to 5 months ago, I was at my parents' house with my mom and sister, and we weren't sure where my dad was. So my sister yelled, "Dad!" from the living room, and an angry man's voice responded with, "What?" coming from my parents' bedroom. So we assumed he was in there and went to check. No one was in there. We found my dad doing yard work outside in the distance where he wouldn't be able to hear if we yelled for him. So who answered us? Ooh. That's actually really scary.
That is.
The fact that this person's just oh yeah, I just hear voices, it's fine. It's excuse me.
I mean,
you know what, fair though, honestly. We all do a little bit.
Yeah,
but
that was a good one.
That was a good one, yeah. That was pretty spooky.
Very spooky.
Very spooky indeed. All right, do you want to do the next one?
Yeah, I'll start the next one. All right, so this one is been submitted by our dear friend, Damien.
Damien, we love Damien.
Damien! Okay, so I've only had one ever paranormal encounter in my life. It was when me and one of my good friends were walking around town with an old camera my friend had laying around trying to make content for YouTube.
Naturally.
Valid.
Yeah, who does that?
And when stumbling through ideas, we ended up at our local cemetery.
That you
also
do, yeah. Valid, yeah.
And got an idea to film a really bad horror movie. Oh, this is my dream hangout. I needed to take some short clips of headstones. When we were exploring the cemetery and filming segments for our little horror movie aspirations, there was this tomb that was enclosed on all 4 sides by this really rusty and unique cage-like structure, kind of away from all the other headstones.
Ooh.
When walking around, this camera may have been old, but we had no problem filming anything. But when we stepped past the threshold of this enclosed area, the camera screen would turn purple and get these weird lines going through it, almost like static that warped the image preview.
Ooh.
The real kicker was that if we stepped out of this box and headstone with the camera would be 100% fine, and only became purple and warped when we walked back inside this enclosed headstone.
Spooky.
It was definitely the most unique and unnerving experience I've had. Anyways, love the podcast so much, and hope you both are doing well and staying safe during these crazy times.
Oh, Damien! A sweetheart. We love them.
Bean, I love him so much.
He is,
yes.
Precious bean. We love him.
Him and his sister Unica actually got me my bat mug.
Look at it. Zoom in on this, Emmy. Zoom in on this, me. Look at this. Beautiful. Love it.
Beautiful.
Don't zoom in my cup. It's from Marshall's. I want the cute mug yet, okay? All right, next submission is submitted by James, aka my husband. When I was a teenager in Boy Scouts, I was on a camp out in the fall in western Oklahoma on a Boy Scout campground. And our group was the only one there. I went on a solo hike, which I know was not the smartest idea, but hey, I was 14. Yeah, you know, when you're 14, you don't do the smartest things.
That's true.
It was around 4:30 when I left camp and hiked for about half an hour. Just when twilight happened, I heard a scream, which sounded like a woman. in the direction I was heading. Since our group was the opposite way, I turned around and walked as quickly back as I could to the camp. While heading back, I felt a weight on my shoulders and did not dare to look behind me. Not coincidentally, that was my last solo hike.
Yikes.
Yikes. I give that a 10 out of yikes. But yeah, like, you don't hike by yourself. Don't do that. Like, yeah, because like not only like, you know, ghosts and shit, but like also like getting lost.
Oh yeah, there's so many stories.
Bears.
People get stranded or like stuck. Like I was just reading a story the other day. Some lady went out and then got like stuck in a like mud thing. It was like some old lady, and she was out there for like 4 hours before someone found her.
Jeez. Yeah, like no thanks.
Nope.
All right, next submission.
Next submission. All right, this one is submitted by Jess. Jess. So, here we go. First of all, I work night shift at a hotel. Terrifying.
Already scared.
Already terrified. One day I was sitting at the front desk minding my own business when this tapping on the wall started up behind me. I assumed it was security since he was in the back office and ignored it. The noise continues for some time when security comes to the front, standing in the doorway between the lobby and the back office, and asks, "Why are you tapping on the wall?" I reply, "I'm not. I thought it was you." And as soon as I said that, the tapping started up in the same spot again.
Ghost's like, "No, it's me."
We both kind of just looked at each other in shock. He ran upstairs to see if it was someone on the second floor, but there was nothing. I still don't know what could have been the cause, and this isn't a ghost story, but fits the vibe. So this is part 2.
Part 2.
One night, I was training someone and was telling her all these stories. She's creeped out, but laughs about it, you know. Anyway,
you know, you gotta be cool. Like, yeah, it's fine. I'm not scared.
So funny. Anyway, I went to the kitchen because I wanted water, and as I'm back there, I hear this low groaning sound that startled me. After looking around, I found that it was the mini fridge making the noise. I laugh it off and make a mental note to tell her about that later.
Okay, yeah.
Well, I forgot. Later on, she goes to the kitchen for something, and after a beat, I hear this loud scream all the way from the front desk. And she comes running out like, "I heard something in the kitchen!" And I'm like, "Oh shit, oh my god,
oh damn, yeah, it must have been a ghost."
Yeah, ooh. Anyway, all the workers had a good laugh after that.
That's funny.
That's a good one.
Oh man, that's
Thanks,
like, okay. I went to a hotel once when I was younger. Like no, I've been to hotels multiple times. My point is,
you have what?
Yeah, you know, I travel. I'm different. No. My family and I, we were young. Like when I was younger, we were trying to get back home from vacation, and we were trying to do like a full day of just like going back home, and it was so exhausting. I think at like, I want to say it was like 2 a.m. My dad just finally was just like, you know, F it, I'm gonna go, like, let's just go stay at a hotel. I'm tired. So we stayed at a hotel, and it was like dark out, and like in the middle of the night. Hotels, man, in like the middle of the night, scary. I don't care what hotel. It could be the nicest hotel ever. Scary.
Yes.
Scary. 10 out of yikes.
10 out of yikes. Yeah, I can't imagine working night shift at a hotel.
But also, like, kind of low-key kind of want to.
Yeah, right?
We definitely have some hotels we want to check out around this area. So hopefully future ones when COVID's not a thing. This is submitted by Ray, aka my mother. My mom. I love her. Oh wait, she has a 2-part because hers is long. Oh my god.
It's a long one.
It's a long one. It's a good one though. When I was growing up in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma in the 80s, there was a story of this place in Tulsa on Sheridan between 111th and 121st Streets, where satanic rituals would take place. We're like, what? Excuse me? May go there.
Satanic rituals?
The stories were told of brave teens who would drive out to this field, park their cars on the road, and hike it to the building that was on the property. I was never part of these excursions for 2 reasons. 1, trespassing. Yeah. That's valid. And 2, satanic rituals. Well, we would go. My friend, we'll call him B, was one of the brave ones. The following is my best recollection of his tale. It was around 11 p.m. and especially dark nights. They all parked their cars and began the hike to the square white building with individual panned windows. Ooh, that sounds kind of very spooky. Like it's like, yeah, seriously. There was a mix of excitement and anxiety in the air as the boys all acted like it was no big deal, so the girls would cling to them for protection. God. The rumors had always, you know, I'd be one of the dudes. I'd be like, yeah, let's go! You'd be like, ah! I'd be one of the bros, but like, yeah, let's go do this, yeah, totally. Anyway, The rumors had always stated that if you touched the windows, your handprint would glow red. So this time they were going to get close enough to either prove the rumors true or dispel them as folklore.
I guess.
Honestly, yeah. I'm like, did my mom just like write this about us? I am sure a group of teens hyped up on adrenaline, even attempting to be quiet, was anything but quiet. But they did their best to creep up on the abandoned house to touch the windows. They could see the house and were shh-ing one another as they approached. With little white building in sight, hearts were pounding, breaths were coming a bit quicker, but they were close. B was pushing up his sleeves, building up the courage to touch the window. Then all of a sudden, the door flies open and a man steps out of the door frame and yells, "Get out of here!" So it was not abandoned.
What?
The girls screamed, yeah. The boys scattered, yeah. Only B kept his wits about himself and touched the window before taking off. You know, honestly, like, yeah. I'm already here. These guys yell, I'm gonna do it. And so before taking off, he said that they all ran back to their cars. He turned around to see if he could see his handprint glowing. It did. Oh. This was a story they were all telling on Monday at school. I listened breathlessly as they each recounted their tale, thanking God that I was not there with them. The tales of that area grew as stories were told over and over again. I was 18 now, out of school, and hadn't thought of that story in years. I was dating a guy who lived in Tulsa. It was late one night as I was driving home and music playing on my car radio, when suddenly the hairs on the back of my neck raised. I felt that. I know that feeling. And I felt a presence in the car with me. I immediately began to pray and probably drove a tad faster to get home. I felt better by the time I was home, and that whatever it was gone. Thanks, Jesus. When I was recounting the story to my mom and sisters the next day, my mom asked where I was. As I thought about it, I realized I was at Sheridan between 111th and 121st Street. Now, I will say this. When she was telling me about this, she did say that building's gone now, unfortunately. Because they completely plowed the area to put up, like, new buildings and stuff.
Of course.
But you can still go on the road, and she says she still hates that road. So...
I've heard rumors about that road.
Really?
Mm-hmm. There's various rumors. I never heard glowing window hand.
Yeah, no, I wish the building was still there. I wish the building was still there, but like...
I wonder if we could find out where exactly.
Like, maybe we can, like
go to the sides of it.
What do you
guys
guys...
be the land.
What do you guys think? Should we go?
Should we do a, like, haunted...
Roads
episode?
Yes, we do haunted roads, because I've heard of lots of other roads. Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of roads around here, and I've had experience on a couple that...
I've had experience on one, too. There's one near my parents' house. It's called the Ghost Road, and the ghost car will chase you.
I've had a ghost motorcycle chase me.
All right, guys, we're gonna do a paranormal road
Minisode.
Minisode. We'll see.
Depends on how much we get.
But anyway, that was a good story.
That was like, a really good one.
I really like. That was like, wow. That is scary and yet like intriguing too. Like, yeah. But also like 100% her friend B. That'd be me.
Oh, totally.
100%. Like being like,
I would be running away.
Oh, you wouldn't be there. You'd be in the car.
It's my social anxiety. I'm not afraid
That's
of
what I meant.
ghosts.
You're like,
I'm afraid of somebody.
Like, I'm not afraid of ghosts. I'm afraid of people.
Yeah.
I'm afraid of the living.
Get off my lawn.
Get off my lawn. Yes, sir.
It's a good one. It's good. All right. This was a shorter one.
Okay.
This is submitted anonymously.
Anonymous.
Here is one of our stories at the Crybaby Bridge in Guthrie.
I've heard about the Crybaby Bridge.
Yeah. So we were near the bridge driving through the woods. We reached the bridge and stopped the car. Mm-hmm. The person I was with had a really weird feeling. Mm-hmm. Then suddenly we heard crying. Mm-hmm. And they left the car to look around. And the crying got louder and louder and suddenly stopped. In the dark, there was a flash of white cloth and a howling.
Howling?
A howling. Is it werewolves?
Someone wondering if it's
Crybaby Road werewolves.
Werewolves.
I went back to the car and we sped down the road out of there. So my thoughts of this. So I.
Oh, that's the end.
That was the end.
Okay.
They got the.
They got the F out of there.
Yeah. They eat it out. So I know Crybaby Bridges. I thought about going to several, but the problem is there are several.
Yeah, there are. Like I looked up one because I was like, when I was trying to help you out with finding places, she does the research and everything. I was just kind of like, I'll look around and I was like, I found this. She's like, oh yeah, that's on the list. So I was like,
oh yeah, I know about this. I feel like that's
cool.
what always happens.
But I found one and she was like, oh, that's really cool. Yeah, it's really interesting. We'll have to go to Kansas. I was like, oh. Because I thought it was like in Oklahoma, but it's because there was multiple
It was a really good one though, and I was like,
yeah.
oh, we need. No, it was like Nebraska or something, because it wasn't close enough for us to go. I was like, yeah, we should totally go.
You were like so nice about it. She's like, yeah, we should totally go. Like, yeah, next time we're in Nebraska. I was like, why do we go to Nebraska? And I looked and I was like, and that's why she does the research and I'm just here for the humor.
It was a really good one though. But yeah, I thought about going to Crybaby Bridges. There's so many legends. I feel like every state has their own Crybaby Bridge or two, and I know there's multiple here, and I wasn't sure. So I found out, I clarified which one this one came from, and it was the one in Guthrie.
Okay.
So maybe there's a little bit more merit to that bridge than the other ones.
Maybe. I've heard some like things about like crying though. Like a lot of times when you hear crying at a distance, it's the fae and they're trying to like lure you into their zone. But the other people are like, it could be the Wendigo, which
yeah.
Thanks.
No, yeah, Wendigo. Yeah, but I know there is one place in town that actually has a historical. I'm like remembering. So there's one place that's one of the kind of Crybaby Bridges, but there's an actual historical documented of an occurrence happening, like deaths and stuff.
Oh, it's like actually has history.
Yeah.
Stuff. Okay.
So that one could be accurate. You might find us at that one eventually. But.
We'll do a cry bit, just like
I'll hit all the bridges.
The cry, like sob fest. Like remember sob fest, and it's just like a ton of
just
like
hit all
the cry babies.
bridges.
But all right, my turn.
Yes.
This one is also anonymous. Anonymous. Okay, so this happened about a decade ago. It's Halloween night. We love Halloween night because it's when we started this. It's Halloween night and me, 3 friends, and my boyfriend at the time are all watching movies at the boyfriend's parents' house. He had mentioned to me before that night that the house was haunted. Oh, hey, by the way, babe, house is haunted.
Oh, okay.
Okay, thanks. Cool. Thanks. Cool. Apparently, the former owner's wife wanted the house built, but she died before it was completed. But like roles reverse. Bland.
Oh yeah, they won't have seen this.
No, they won't. That's a little sneak peek.
Sneak peek.
It was not completed. The man and his young daughter moved in the house, but the daughter began acting strange. There were weird drawings inside the bottom back wall of the kitchen cabinet, supposedly drawn by the daughter, who never got over her mother's death. She died not long after, very suddenly.
What?
So the little girl drew, and there's still the drawing like in the house. We can't really cover that though, because wouldn't that like make the go? I would like lock that cabinet, like be like get out of here. Anywho, that night my ex was talking about how the house was haunted, and they've experienced a lot of weird activity. They even had a video of a balloon that walked around the house by itself. Okay, I don't like those personally, because like air conditioning can like affect that. They're like, oh no, like it's tugging. I'm like, balloons do weird things.
They fly around.
Like I'm like about that. Like I know it kind of like brought that back, and like I'm just saying, like on TikTok especially, like a ton of people like are like, oh, I have a ghost because a balloon's jumping around. It's like, dude, it's helium. Like,
it's not Pennywise.
So, I'm like a little against that, but it's fine. Makes the story more interesting. Later that night, I was about to head home when we all heard footsteps upstairs. Someone said it was the dog, but just then the dog came into the room from another downstairs room. Dog's like, hey yo, you called. I decided that was my cue to leave. Yeah, I'd be like, peace out, I'm out of here. Actually, no, now I'd be like, ghost camp.
Yeah,
back in the day, I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm getting out of here. But now I'm like, So I said bye to everyone and headed for my car. The stairs were near the front door. I got about halfway to my car when I hear one of the guys screaming and comes running out of the house. I asked what was wrong, and he said the footsteps came back. When he turned around, a little girl was standing at the top of the stairs, so he bolted. That's one of my weirdest ghosty tales. Not my scariest, my weirdest.
Wait, what's your scariest?
Yeah, what? That's pretty spooky to me.
Can you send us more stories?
Yeah, send us more, please. Anonymous, you know who you are. Please, can you... Please, because like...
I want to know all
I'm like, that's spooky.
That is really spooky.
They're like, this is the weirdest ghosty tale. Not my scariest. I'm like, this is the
this is already scary.
I want the scary. Give me the scary. Oh man, that's good though.
That's good though. Probably like... little girl ghosts. I'm like, are you a ghost? Are you a demon?
Demon? Yeah, that's creepy.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
That is a good one.
That is another 10 out of yikes.
10 out of yikes.
10 out of yikes. Yeah, that one, I don't do like little kids. Every time I hear like a little kid chatter or like Everyone's like, I see a child. I'm like, demon. Like, I'm just like, out of here. Like, bye, demon. Get out. No thanks. Mm-hmm. Get out of here. Mm-hmm. Don't want any part of you. All right.
Break.
Yeah, hang on. Ginger really is good with it, though.
I really like this combination.
I was like, let's add some ginger with brown sugar. I'm sure it'll be okay. Mm-hmm. I was like a little worried. I was like, I'm gonna add this, and then inside, I'm like, what if it doesn't work out? What if it's like really bad? What if we like to go in the middle of the camera? We're like, and it's like, no, it's really bad. Really, and I start like all the anxiety was coming at me, and it was just coming at once, and then it ended up being really good.
Yeah, it's really good. Very festive, very Christmassy. Brown sugar, ginger, with some homemade whip.
Which I know you guys are probably like, why didn't you just add cinnamon? My husband's allergic to cinnamon. I don't have cinnamon in this house.
It's sad. It's tragic. I have to take her out and like buy her cinnamon things.
So sad. I'm sorry. I'm mourning if I don't have cinnamon. Okay, next
moment of silence.
Moment of silence. Okay.
All right. This one is submitted by Erail.
Erail. That's a pretty name.
That's beautiful. All right. I remember at a friend's house, he had this weird painting on the second floor that watched your every move.
Man, why you gotta get paintings that watch you? Like,
I'm sorry, I just put it together. I know where this one takes place, and I know what painting they're talking about. Erail.
Okay, keep going. We'll talk about it.
Okay. Even when you went to the bathroom, it would watch you there as well. It felt like it watched you through the walls.
Yikes.
So I was at said friend's house on the first floor. We were watching, no joke, Ghostbusters 2 on his laptop in the kitchen. His parents were asleep, so other than the laptop, the house was quiet and the volume was turned down pretty low. We heard behind us a scraping sound like something sliding across the counter. We both looked back and didn't notice anything until we saw that a silver cup that held pens and a letter opener had moved across the frickin' counter.
Okay, so wait, so...
I know where this took place because
you know Erail?
Yes, I know Erail.
I also know Erail. I'm not gonna pretend like I don't know him.
Yeah, we know Erail. But I know exactly whose friend's house this is. I know what painting they're talking about. It's coming to me as I was reading it. I was like, holy crap. Because the layout they mentioned between the bathroom and everything, I know whose it is.
Okay.
So it's our friend Ash's house.
Mm-hmm. We'll say Ash for now.
Yeah, well, this is semi-pseudonym.
Ash.
So it was...
You gotta catch them all.
It's his house, yeah, because I've been there with Bill on multiple occasions way back in the day, and I know exactly what painting they're talking about and where it is. And if I'm wrong, correct me, Erail, but I'm pretty sure I'm positive, because the layout sounds like the home. And it was the creepiest painting. We would all get really freaked out by it, and it did feel like it watched you.
You know what, though? Okay, so I've been to that friend's house once. Only once. I've only been there once. And because we always hung out at my house more.
Yeah.
But when the one time I went there, I don't remember the painting, but I do remember that they had this like little like cubby room thing that was like a built-in like a theater room.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? But it was like it was like a really low door, kind of like a crawl space, but they turned into a theater room, which was really cool. I did not want to go in there. I felt very like not because of claustrophobia, but just very suffocated, very like. Just like, I don't want to be here. Something is stopping me from being in here. And he's like, do you want to come in like and look at the place? I was like, no, I'm good. Like, I wouldn't go in there. But I don't remember a painting, but like that place always gave me kind of the creeps.
Yeah, it definitely did to me too. I don't know when it was built, but I feel like it was an older home. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they built it. Like,
I don't know. It is in a really like old area though, like an old neighborhood.
It is. So if it is anything, it could even be the land. Yeah. But the style of the home is very old. Like, yeah. So I don't know.
It's pretty, but like.
It is very pretty. But I think I know exactly what painting they're talking about, and I can verify it was disturbing.
Oh, well.
Did not like it.
So, spooky, no thanks.
No thanks. No
thanks.
Next.
This is submitted by Sippy Cup. Sippy Cup.
You know who you are.
So when I was in middle school, I was staying at my friend's house. There was about 3 of us sleeping down in the living room. My friend fell asleep with a purple blanket on. Okay. Everyone else had fallen asleep before me. I was super anxious and paranoid about something. Like something was watching me. Finally, I managed to get to sleep. Yeah, but eventually you're just like so tired and you're just like, oh, fine.
Oh yeah, I've been there.
And when I woke up the next morning, that purple blanket was on me. I asked the girls if they woke up during the night to put it on me, or maybe their mom did, but they all said no. My friend then told me that she once saw like a ghost of a maid folding that blanket at the end of her bed before. Oh yeah, the blanket that I had on, yeah, like this ghost maid just happened to fold it. It's no big deal. Get better friends, okay?
I
kidding.
I was like, man, they're very detailed about that purple
Yeah,
blanket.
the purple blanket. I was like, okay. Okay.
Wow.
Like, dang. Okay, that'd be spooky. Like,
that's really. Oh yeah, this ghost maid. She probably put it on you.
yeah. Like, okay. It's like my first like thought process was, okay, well maybe you like tugged it off of them. Like, if you, like I don't know the sleeping arrangement. Like maybe you were like sleeping next to this friend, and like, you like pulled it off of them. Like, cause I can see that. But then the friend's like, oh no, there was like a ghost maid that like you should do shit like that. It's like, oh, cool. Never sleeping here again.
That's weird.
Yikes. That's a.
I don't.
8. I'll say 8 out of yikes.
8 out of yikes.
I'm not gonna really rate these. I'm just making these up. Like I want to rate these. These are all really good stories.
Yeah, they're all so good.
Next.
All right. This one is kind of disturbing.
Ooh, okay.
So.
Content warning.
Like
content warning. Death.
Suicide. Trigger warning.
Suicide and killing. Trigger warning. If you want to skip this, you just skip this part. Okay, done.
Perfect. Very Bailey's theory.
Okay. She'd be proud.
She'd be so proud. Okay, so this one is submitted by Josh. So I was 16 years old. I was visiting a friend out of state. The first time I walked into the house and noticed a staircase going up and then a railing on the second floor.
Okay.
Something about that entryway and railing just felt weird to me. So I stayed with them for about 2 weeks and never noticed anything else, but I always felt weird about that entryway and the railing. Come to find out, a few months later, about the family that lived in the house before them. The dad apparently killed his wife and 2 kids in the garage and then hung himself from the railing upstairs and hung in the entryway. And I guess my friend's family sometimes heard other noises like kids' voices, but he never heard anything while he was there.
Ugh, I don't like that. Cause like that we were just talking about like that goes in like, you know, like history now where it's like, oh, so that actually did happen. Like it's not like, you know, like, oh, a child's ghost or whatever. It's like, no, there was an actual death there. That's so sweet.
I don't think I could live in a house. Like I could say, yeah, I live in a haunted house, but there's one thing about haunted house and a house where like, you know, for a fact,
a demented, like,
took place.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. And that's
especially when it involves a kid. Like, I'm sorry. Like when a kid's death is like that, I'm out. Like I wouldn't, ugh.
Yeah.
But I've heard haunted houses are cheaper, so, oh man.
That one's heavy though.
That broke my heart. That was sad.
That one's heavy.
That was sad.
It's a good one, but a very heavy one.
Oh man. I would say this next one's funny, but it's not. It's like a little bit more spooky, but it's not as dark, so, well, okay. Drink some more coffee. Coffee break.
Coffee break.
Yeah, it's still really good though. That ginger is so good.
I want more. I'm about to have to refill myself.
It'll be refill time. All right. So this one's a longer one. As you can see, it's like a full page. So this one's actually submitted by my sister. About in 2004, I was around 11 and my sister, me, was 9 years old. We had decided to sleep out on the trampoline. Okay, we did this all the time. Like it sounds like really suspicious. You guys are like, it's fine. It's because we lived out in the country. There was like nowhere around us. So we should just like lay out on the trampoline all the time.
That makes sense.
But we spent the night outside, literally like we would lay out there, and then as soon as the coyotes came, we'd be like, all right, we're out. And like we'd go back inside.
Yeah, there's a lot of coyotes.
So we'd sleep until like 3 a.m., then they'd go off, and we'd go back inside. And my dad was always like awake still, because he was like, oh, I don't want them sleeping outside. Anyway, so there's that, so you don't think we're just like my parents were just like, yeah, sleep outside, have fun. We were just talking about whatever preteens talked about the early 2000s. It was Mega Man.
It's always
Mega Man. We loved Mega Man. When we saw the strange light falling from the sky, oh, I remember this. It was too big to be a satellite and too slow to be a falling star. Plus, we both also saw the glow of it hitting the ground in the pasture that was a couple miles up the road. It glowed a bright minty cyan color. Yeah, I remember this. It was like, and I remember the first thought in my head is that it looked like what Stitch crashed down from Disney's Lilo and Stitch. Yes. So like, you know, like when he crashed down, it was all funny. That's exactly what it looked like. 100%. So and we both saw it. It was so creepy. Same effects and everything. My sister and I chickened out that night and ended up sleeping inside. I always struggled with night terrors, but for the most part, at this age, it was all just typical children-like bad dreams. Dinosaurs coming to eat me, spies breaking through the window, you know, kid stuff. But later, after seeing the glowing crash, I was suddenly awoke with this horrible feeling of being watched. I remember something telling me, don't look, but I was 11, so I did it anyway. I saw a shadowy figure standing at the foot of my bed with glowing bluish eyes. They were so bright I had to look away. It felt so very surreal. I just remember us staring at each other, but then I remember nothing. And not like I woke up and it was actually a bad dream, nothing. Almost like a memory blank. I honestly do not remember what happened then. I remember my ears ringing and hearing my heart rate, but after that, just being on my parents' floor with my blanket. After that, my paranoia and night terrors amplified to the point I slept on my parents' floor until I was about 14. And even then, I still slept only about 3 to 4 hours a night and took more comfort in sleeping when the sun was up. Yep. As an adult, I brought this up to my sister, me, again, and without even telling her about my connection to the shadow figure and the falling light, she said she remembered seeing a shadow person walk past her room to get to mine out her window. I'll go more into that. Since then, also, I have had a huge paranoia of looking out my window. In fear I will see a face with glowing eyes. My partner believes I have repressed memories of some kind, but I also know I'm just a scaredy cat. So yeah, my sister has always had really bad night terrors ever since we were kids. So like I used to sleep in a room all the time. We used to share a room, and then when I got older, they turned our playroom, like storage room, into my room. So I used to sleep in there. But I used to get woken up in the middle of the night because she wanted me to sleep with her. And so that was like a lot of our childhood. And I didn't say anything about it. I was a kid. I was like, sure, whatever.
Yeah.
But I do remember the shadow figure. I was in my room, and I had this like really dinky, like old TV, like a little tiny TV in my room. And so I was watching Cartoon Network or something. So I was watching cartoons, and then I looked over, and in my window I saw this like shadow walk by, and I was like, oh, it must have been like my dad. But then I heard my dad in the living room. And so I got up and like went out there and was like, Dad, like, is there someone like in our backyard? He's like, what are you talking about? I was like, did you go outside? He was like, no. And so my dad like grabbed his gun and ran outside. He was like, ah.
Like, all right, I'm ready.
So he went out there, and this was like probably about 5 minutes after I saw it. So like, if my dad ran out there with a gun and like looked around, he would have saw someone running away, because it was a big yard and no, there wasn't anyone there. Yeah, so like my sister, it breaks my heart for my sister though, because she like, she's always had night terrors growing up, and like still to this day, like every once in a while she like still has insomnia and like can't sleep.
I don't know how she functions on the amount of sleep she gets.
Yeah.
Like she's a super friggin' hero.
I know, like, she never could sleep that well, but I feel bad for her. Like my heart goes out for her, because she like really helped me out. Like, every time I had night terror, like, and I didn't have as much as her, she always like helped me out, was like, yeah, like I know exactly what you're going through, you can sleep with me tonight. And like she was always like really good for me. So that was, good big sister. But like, man, like now, like, hearing that story again, like reminds me of that night, like that, like Sky big and everything. When we Sky's big, yeah, and just because you didn't know that, Sky's big. Science. So there was like, so like when you're looking at the sky though, like the thing falling from the sky was like this big in the sky, like, so like not like actually this big, but like to us it looked like that,
which means it's pretty big.
Yeah, exactly. And like we were outside talking, if I remember this like clearly, we were like outside talking about Mega Man, and I was facing my sister, and I saw like the side of her face like change to like a tealish kind of color. So we both, and she saw it on me too, so we both turned around. That's when we saw it falling. And like it did not make a sound. I remember that was weird. Like you didn't hear like the or anything, and nothing. Just, and then all of a sudden it was like it wasn't even a sound. It wasn't like a boom. It was like vibrations. Like it was like, and then it glowed like that. And it was really weird. I mean, like my sister said, we chickened out and ran inside. Well, the next day we like told my dad about it, and my dad's very like, he's kind of skeptical of like aliens and stuff, but he's very intrigued, kind of like me with ghosts. So he was like, oh, you probably just saw like a shooting star. And then he was like online like looking, because he trusted us.
Yeah.
And like, of course there was nothing online, because
cover up.
Because really,
there's a military base nearby, right?
Right there. Yeah, there's a military base right there. And so, because we like, after we told my dad he couldn't find anything, we actually like, I remember we were in the car with him going to like church, I don't remember where we're going, and he goes, we're just gonna do a little detour. And I noticed he was like going to like the pasture area and like kept driving, and we didn't see anything. And he just like was like, how far do you think it was? And I was like, Kay was like, it would be around here. And there wasn't even like a crash area. There was nothing. It was really weird. And so, but of course, like you said, there's a military base near there, probably got completely covered up, which would not shock me.
I definitely think there's something to what she saw, and it was definitely
paranormal, aliens. I don't know.
I love that though. We
that.
want all of that. We want all the stories. We want aliens. We want like.
Well, and because like in Oklahoma, we don't talk about it. Like there's so many evidence. We're like, oh no, we don't see it.
Yeah.
But it's like, and like what Amber was saying earlier was like. Someone would be like, oh yeah, like I just saw like a man floating by, no big deal. And it's like, excuse me?
I'm like, oh, what?
Like, and they just like don't think about
why
it.
haven't you told me this? Like, they're just like, oh yeah, it's whatever.
It's whatever.
I'm like, that's not whatever.
It's like, tell me. So like, that's why we wanted to start this podcast, because it's like, you know, now after reading all of these amazing stories, it just goes to show that like everyone has something. So much out there we don't know. We're so small. Like seeing that light when I was younger falling from the sky, in that moment I remember thinking, wow, we are nothing. Like this, we're a speck in this universe.
It really makes you think, and in all the experiences that I went through as a kid, and it really, you grow up before your time. Yeah. Honestly, you're like, wait, these type of things can happen to you. Yeah. And it's crazy, but we're just so happy to start this community because we want to open conversation and talk about the stuff we love and we're passionate about. We want to hear your stories, tell our own stories. It's exciting.
Exactly. I love this. This is good. I like this.
It's good. I feel like this year.
I feel like we connected. Like.
Yeah, I feel like we're connecting with all of you, and this year's been so hard. It's been so difficult for everybody, and I feel like starting Death for Decaf has been life-changing because it's bringing out, it's calming my anxiety, oddly. We're going out.
I know, like my anxiety spikes every time we go, but when I come back, I'm like so relaxed. Like it's peaceful. Like, it's like adrenaline. I guess it is,
but it's just it's so nice getting to go do stuff and feel like you're doing something with your life. Because this year it's been so hard. You're stuck inside. And now we're safely getting to do things like visiting abandoned sites or doing private investigations. And it's great, and it makes me so happy. So
and then we love the community. Like we're loving that we get to do this with you guys, and like that you guys, you know, because like if we're being honest here, this is gonna be honest here. When I was like, hey, I think we should do a submission like Christmas, like or not Christmas holiday thing, and Amber was like, I don't know, like, what if we don't get any submissions? And I'm like, we can try. And so I was a little worried that we were gonna like maybe like 3. But we ended up getting so many. Like, we still have one left, guys.
Yeah, there's one more to go.
One more left, but like we still have one more, and it's like we had so many, and we did. Thank you guys.
Like thank you for watching. We started this just to give us something to do.
We needed a hobby.
A hobby, and we already were talking about these things to ourselves. We're like, why don't we just share it? Why don't we do it? And thank you for watching. Like, holy crap, people watch this.
Yeah, like people actually care and watch this. Like, really?
Weird.
But like so anyway, thank you everyone. I guess we can go ahead and this last one.
We'll end on this one. This one's a kind of personal one. This is from my mom.
We both our moms supporting us.
This one, okay. I'll have a lot to talk about. I'll read this first and then I'll tell you my experience with this. Being sensitive to things runs in our family. We'll get feelings about something, and if we follow our instincts, it usually turns out to be a good thing. We'll have dreams that are extra strange or see things that others don't. On one occasion, many years ago, I had a very unsettling dream. 2 or 3 nights in a row it occurred. I saw a girl walking on what appeared to be concrete. She would slowly walk until she was out in a field. I was only seeing her from behind, and it looked just like my daughter, me. While she was walking in the field, it would suddenly flash and cut to a body in a large pond near the bank. My instinct had told me that it was my daughter, but I was unsure. Now I think I just projected my worst fear onto what I was seeing. To be cautious, I told my daughter not to go out to any fields, ponds, or anywhere rural. One day, she was showing me photos of her and her friend in what appeared to be a large field behind a friend's neighborhood. That looked just like the field from my dream. I panicked and told her not to go back. She didn't. I don't think I did, at least.
You're because that she knew of.
I don't remember going back. But here's the kicker, guys. A few months later, they pulled a body from the large pond in that field. And she says, I never told her that. She didn't until a couple days ago. I didn't want to know the details because it was too scary, so I'm not sure what happened to the body that was found. Like who.
So because she just didn't want, whoa!
Let's unpack this show.
Yeah, like it's personal. It's like, yeah, clearly.
Okay, so I'm going to eventually do a future episode on the haunted house I grew up in. And
Amber has a lot. So like we had mentioned before about how we both, like, I've been curious about the paranormal, but I didn't, other than like things like the, you know, like the light and like seeing the one shadow person, I don't really have like a whole bunch more of like paranormal stuff. But this one, I don't even know half of them. Like, I only know a few.
No, you're gonna.
She's like, oh man, like, I was like, we should do an episode just about your story. She's like, that's gonna be like a 3-part episode. And I'm like, let's do it.
I'm excited but nervous to do it, but I do want to. So my family, I'll go into that in the episode, but basically there are various parts of my family, so much of my family that this kind of runs in, being a little bit more sensitive to things. I don't want to be like psychic, you know, but like having a little bit extra sense. But I, after experiencing what I've gone through, I can say without a doubt, I 110% believe in the paranormal, because I have gone through things that are absolutely impossible to debunk. But anyway, so I remember vividly going out into this field all the time.
Because you were like younger and like, it's like, why not? Like, because why not? Make a YouTube video.
Make a YouTube video. No, I was, God, this was like before YouTube. I'm that old.
You're gonna expose your age?
Old.
Not that old.
But anyway, yeah, so I remember this vividly. I would go out there. I didn't connect it. So I remember my mom telling me this, and I was like, I'm gonna get murdered? Excuse? Because she did tell me what she saw, and then not to do this, because like I was gonna get murdered.
Right.
And I remember I was like,
hold up, Mom. Slow down, Mom.
But I watched all the true crime shows and stuff anyway already at that age. I think this is probably when I was like 13, 14.
Okay.
So I was, you know, like old enough for her to be telling me that. So I remember her saying that, but I didn't connect going into this field because it's a neighborhood, like a normal neighborhood. Okay. It was not like out rural anywhere. It was actually closer in Tulsa, near where my current apartments are. Like I could take you to that field. I'm good. Not going to, but so if you go back the pathways, there's a big, huge field, and we were doing a little photo shoot in there, right? We're like,
oh, I'm sorry. She's like, it was before YouTube. We were doing a photo shoot.
Yeah, we were like, oh, we look so cute in this field, like in the backdrop. So we were doing pictures and stuff. Yeah.
Okay. So I just want to make sure. I gotta know the details.
Oh yeah, it was cute.
Okay.
It was cute. So whatever. By this time, I had forgotten my mom had even told me this. So then I eventually, I don't know if I was like showing it to her or she saw it on MySpace or something, I don't know. But
MySpace. You exposed your age again. Exposed.
But she saw it and then she freaked the F out on me. She was like, do not go there again. That's it. That's it.
Okay, but I would too.
I was like, yeah, I totally understand. But I was like, okay, so I'm gonna get murdered and dumped out there, lit. So I just stayed away. I'm pretty sure I stayed away because I did take this stuff seriously. And I didn't know that a body was ever pulled out of the water.
Well, sure, she didn't tell you.
No, she didn't tell me. And so I was talking to her about submitting a story. I was like, hey, do you want to submit anything? Because I know she has a lot that's happened.
With the house and everything, yeah.
With a haunted house, but I was going to not do those because I want to wait and surprise everyone when the time comes. But she has a lot of other ones. I was like, hey, do you remember that time you told me I was going to be murdered? And she was like,
oh yeah, just like it was yesterday.
Yeah, but she had totally forgotten from it. And she was like, oh my gosh, yes. And so we discussed it and she was telling me it again. And like, she had goosebumps when she was telling me, like, I mean, you could physically see up her arms, just like
I don't
goosebumps.
Like that. I don't like that.
And she was telling me about it and she's like, I totally forgot about it, but now it's like coming back to me. And then she was like, and then later they found a body. Like she had already told me or something. Like later they found a body and then and I was like, I was shook.
Yeah.
So I was like, what happened? You know, obviously me, I'm like, details, research.
Right.
What happened? Who was it? How they died? Did they get murdered for sure? Do we know that? Like, what's going on? She's like, I was terrified. I didn't want to know because I was just absolutely terrified. And she thinks that she kind of projected my face onto the body. But it really could have been me that she was seeing walking through the field.
That's what I think. And that you would have like...
And that I would have discovered the body or something.
Or like maybe the murder would have killed you too.
Maybe. I don't know, but it was very unsettling. Yeah, so finding out that a body was found really shook me up. God, I don't know. I just want to know what happened.
Yeah.
I want to know who it was, what happened, give me all the deets. But
that's definitely surreal. Wow.
That's
like, man, you guys, this one has some in like out of this world stories.
There's
like,
a really good one with my grandma's sister that I want to share.
For next time. My coffee's empty, so I want to end this because
refill.
So thank you everyone for submitting these amazing stories. We'll say that again because of my word. These were
yeah, they're so good. If you have more that you want to just send us so we can personally
read them, because please do, because
it's exciting.
It's exciting. I love this. So with that said, everyone, I hope you had a safe and happy holiday, and that we'll see you guys later for the Belvedere Mansion.
The Belvedere coming soon. You will see our Belvedere investigation episode, which we're
so excited about.
A 2.5 hour private investigation.
Woo! It's so fun. Anyway, so till next time,
stay spooky
and caffeinated. Bye.
Bye.